Today on Fresno State Focus, check out how some students will be helping poor families during spring break.
Also, how Fresno State is honoring one alumnus who left a mark in the field of social work.
Plus, find out how university justifies high cost of parking tickets. Fresno State Focus starts now.
Hello and welcome to Fresno State Focus. I'm Matthew Criswell.
And I'm Angelica Leilani. For many college students, spring break usually means going out of town, catching up on homework and sleep, or partying with friends. Reporter Elisa Banal tells us how some Fresno State students are choosing to use their time off to give back to the community.
While many students go crazy on vacation, other students at Fresno State have signed up to serve members of the community. They have given up their time to relax and have fun to make someone else's life a little better. Alternative Spring Break, put on by Fresno State Student Involvement, is a program where students can sign up to do community service during the week of spring break. Fresno State graduate assistant Marina Aguilera says it's a positive thing for students to get involved with.
Getting involved with Alternative Spring Break not only gets you involved with your campus, but it also allows you to see what your community you live with, like what issues does Fresno face. So it's a good way for you to be able to be exposed a little bit more to what's out there, as well as what else is out that the campus can offer for us.
Leaders and members of the team serving this coming spring break have been meeting together for team building to get to know each other more so they can work better together.
Although Alternative Spring Break has been around for the past 7 years, many students don't know that it's on campus. The program recently helped out charities like Ronald McDonald House and Fresno Rescue Mission.
This year's teams will help Grid Alternatives install solar panels and insulation for low-income families, and every neighborhood partnership work with local churches and schools. Fresno State student Elizabeth Olenchok says there are benefits to helping.
It looks great on your resume. If you can say, like, well, what have you done at Fresno State? And you're like, oh, well, I was part of this group of students that went and did a community service project during our spring break. And then it's like interest because that's cool.
Sign-ups for this year's Alternative Spring Break are officially closed, but ASB is looking for more volunteers for next spring. Check out their Facebook page, Fresno State Alternative Spring Break. Elisa Bernal, Fresno State Focus.
Fresno State students are in the process of voting for a slate of new ASI officers. We invited the two presidential candidates to appear on Fresno State Focus to give you a chance to hear what they have to say. Abigail Hudson responded and joins us this afternoon. Ralph Ruiz was unable to make it. Ms. Hudson, thank you for being here with us today. So let's start with, can you give us a brief explanation of your campaign platform?
Well, essentially, we have three things that we're focusing on. The first is increasing student representation and involvement. The second is improving campus and community safety. And the third is ensuring student affordability regarding student fees.
Okay. Speaking of campus safety, students just took the mandatory sexual assault awareness course. If elected, what changes would you make to improve campus safety?
Well, one was to continue to work on community revitalization, so that's working with the surrounding community, making sure that it's a safer and cleaner environment, continuing with the lighting projects that the school has already started on campus and in the surrounding communities, and definitely making sure that students are aware, especially incoming freshmen, aware of all of the different things that can arise with sexual assault, alcohol poisoning, things like that.
A lot of students don't really know who their president is or who's running or who represents them. If elected, how would you help to increase involvement and awareness?
Well, visibility is something that ASI has struggled with for quite a few years. This is my first year on ASI, and this year I took the initiative to get posters made of every ASI representative's face plastered all over campus. I think that was a really great way for students to know who their ASI representatives were. I think that's something I would continue to do next year, as well as just introducing myself to the different clubs and organizations and holding open forums for students to come voice different concerns that they have, and that way we could address them.
Okay. So what do you say from your background has helped you to be a qualified candidate for this year's election?
Well, currently I'm the Executive Vice President of ASI, so that experience has definitely been irreplaceable in preparing for my election this year. And then also I'm on Panhellenic, which is the governing board of sororities, as well as have served as an officer in my own sorority for the past 3 years.
Okay. What would you say separates you from the other candidate?
I think the number one thing is experience. Like I said, that experience that I have is absolutely irreplaceable. It's really important to know exactly what you're getting yourself into and all of the expectations that come along with being ASI president. Another thing is just that I am really good at setting up new programs and goals and accountability for different people, especially when my job was to oversee the Senate this year. So it's really important that you are able to set up those goals and follow through with them.
Hey, you spoke of new goals or new programs. What new programs would you like to create if you were elected as president?
Well, again, like I mentioned earlier about the open forums, so I think it's important for the president of ASI, just like the president of the university, to hold open forums for students to address concerns or praises of what's going on at the university. Of course, we don't have the budget that President Castro has to fix problems going on, but it's definitely something that we can address with President Castro and the rest of the administration on campus.
Okay, are there any other, besides campus safety and awareness, what are some other things that you hope to change or make students more aware of on campus?
Well, there's a great opportunity to serve on campus-wide committees, and a lot of students don't know about that opportunity. President Moses Menchaca right now has gotten more students on these campus-wide committees than ever before, but my goal is to even go further and get more students. It's really important that we have a student voice on every campus-wide committee. That way, that student has an equal representation on that committee as any faculty, staff, or administrator. I think it's a really important and great opportunity for students that they don't know about, and I'd like to get them involved.
Okay. A lot of students, they get emails, they see flyers and things like that, but there's not always a lot of response. What's a way that you think could get more students involved?
I think if we did a little bit better marketing, there's a lot of stuff that goes out to Fresno State students and it kind of overloads them. But to make sure that we're targeting the right students by going to clubs and organizations in order to talk to students, that's the way to reach the most students. And getting more students involved in those clubs and organizations even gives us a better platform to be able to speak to those students.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being with us today. Good luck with the election.
Thank you.
Elections are still going on and will end tomorrow at noon. To vote, click on the link you received in your Fresno State email. Winners will be announced at 3 tomorrow afternoon in the free speech area. Angelica?
Parking citations cost violators hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. I took a look at just why penalties on campus are so high and where that money goes.
Yep, $50.
It's something that students and faculty dread.
Oh, I love this. Complete vehicle check, no pass found. And yet I have one.
Sharon Briscoe is a temporary employee, but she forgot to display her parking permit.
I actually parked over here in this parking lot.
Athletic department student Jennifer Hornback didn't realize she'd parked at an expired meter.
I purchased a $100 parking pass for the semester, and then I got a $40 ticket.
Students and faculty are reeling at the cost of these citations. The price has doubled from just a few years ago. But as much as traffic fines cost at Fresno State, they cost more at other CSU campuses. The high is at Cal State Fullerton, where it costs $80 for parking without a permit. On the other end, it cost only $30 for the same violation at Cal State Bakersfield. Documents show that Fresno State generated nearly $600,000 in parking citations alone last year. So the question is, where is all that money going? Traffic and Operation Manager Tom Gaffrey says part of the money helps pay for traffic-related expenses on campus.
For example, those bike barns that we recently constructed, those are constructed using parking fine revenue.
Gaffrey says a company in Southern California does all the paperwork, which costs money, and the university has to pay $950 to Fresno County for each citation. But he says the university has extended the time students can park in free zones and it's improved its signage. Gaffrey says the purpose of these expensive tickets is to get students and staff to comply.
It's really hard on the students because, they're already being beaten up by increases in student fee tuition, increases in student fees.
Get a ticket on campus. There's a very specific appeal process. There are several steps. If you follow the instructions on pticket.com, there's always a chance you could prevail.
The 2015 Legacy Dinner honored social work heroes who have made a difference in the community. Fresno State alumni and students gathered Friday night to celebrate 3 social workers. Richard D. Ford, the university's first African-American dean, was one of the honorees. Before he passed away in 1997, Ford spent 20 years at Fresno State in which he touched the lives of thousands of minorities in the valley. Student Samantha Diaz says she and other students feel blessed to be a part of the dinner.
We've had the opportunity to hear their stories, hear what kind of impact they've had at the university level and in our communities. And in a way, it's just kind of a way to be inspired.
This was the second dinner put on by the Department of Social Work Education. Its goal is to bring alumni and students together.
Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Week takes place during the month of March. Just a couple of weeks ago, the trees on campus and many others across the valley had orange ribbons tied to them to raise awareness for MS. And for the MS Society of Fresno offers free fall and cognitive skills classes to help people who have MS with balance. Fontini Alferreris says their organization helps about 2,400 people with MS.
So during MS Awareness Week, there was a ton of fundraisers. You know, at local restaurants, Westwood's Barbecue donated 20% of the bill with the flyer, came back to the MS Society. Chipotle across from Fresno State, 50% of the bill was coming back.
The MS Walk of Hope will take place on Saturday, April 25th on Palm Avenue near Fig Garden Village.
Coming up, Elisa Bernal with your focus on weather.
Plus, one Fresno State team is competing at the world-class level this year.
And fashion models who walked the runway this campus this weekend. All that when we come back.
I am Fresno State, and I'm going to show you why. Here's the beautiful and newly constructed Henry Madden Library, which has a massive collection. The Save Mart Center, which is our sports venue and one of the best attended in the entire country. We're absolute pioneers in the agricultural sciences, having led to the production of the first university winery and drawing in a diversity of students to achieve academic success over the past 100 years. And you know, I wish I had time to tell you about everything else, but in reality, I think you're just going to have to come see for yourself.
Unlike a lot of parts of the East Coast, the Central Valley definitely is feeling the warmth of spring. It's been very warm here, but we have been having a little breeze these last few days, which has given us a break of the heat, and I know a lot of us appreciate that. A lot of people pulling out their shorts and their flip-flops just because it is so warm, a lot warmer than usual. Now, taking a look at our national map, over here in Michigan and more of New York, we're seeing a little bit of precipitation, a lot cooler weathers, nothing much in the central. Looking at our regional map here in the Central Valley, not much here in the Central Valley, but there is a lot of activity in the Sierra Nevadas, but nothing really hitting the ground too much. Taking a look at our 5-day outlook, it's going to be 77 degrees today with a low of 52. It's going to definitely feel like April in Thursday, but once we hit Friday, it's definitely going to be feeling a lot like June because we're going to get pretty hot with a high of 92 degrees. But don't fear, we will be in the 80s coming in on Sunday. We'll have a high of 82 degrees, so it's looking like it's going to be a very, very beautiful weekend. So that's your weather. Back to you, Angelica and Matt.
Pause for a Cause took place today. It's the first event that SPCA put on at Fresno State to help dogs find homes. Fresno State student and SPA employee Cynthia Orozco helped organize the event and is here to talk about the event today. Hi, and who's this little guy with us?
Hello, thank you for having us. This is Felix. He's a 3-month-old pit lab mix. So he's definitely still available for adoption if anybody's interested in him. We associated with PRSSA, which is a club here at school, and I got an email from one of the students, and they asked, we can come and have an event for us, and of course we were more than happy to do that. So we were here. It was very successful. We definitely got a lot of information out to students about microchipping, getting their dogs fixed, vaccinations. A lot of them signed up for volunteering, so we had a lot of organizations, a lot of students and clubs who signed up to volunteer with us, which is wonderful. We always need volunteers. We also had 2 adoptions, so that's great. Both the students had a class afterwards, so one of them took the dog to class and the other one had a friend babysit. So it was definitely a really, really great turnout, and we were definitely glad to be part of the school.
And so can you tell us that we have another event coming up?
Yes, we got an email. There is going to be an Earth Day event here on campus on April 22nd. So, we definitely look forward to working with you guys again. It's definitely fun for me, being a student, putting my work and my school together. So we look forward to that event. Hopefully we get more adoptions and, more volunteers and more information out. And hopefully that's also a great turnout.
And can you tell us, is there any other ways that people can get involved with the SPCA, volunteering, if there's anything to donate?
Yes, it doesn't necessarily have to be any new stuff. If anybody would like to donate, we take used stuff as well. If anybody would like to volunteer, we are also doing signups at our location, which is located at 103 South Hughes Avenue. We're open every day of the week from 7 to 10. From 10 to 3, 10 to 5. So if anybody would like to, come show up, sign up to volunteer, those would be great times to do so.
Okay, and we've been talking with Cynthia Orozco and this little cutie. Thanks for being here.
Thank you guys for having us.
Once again, you can drop off food, toys, and collars and leashes, and of course, money to the SPCA at 103 South Hughes Avenue in Fresno.
Local craft brewery, Tioga Sequoia Brewing Company, hosted a comic book themed art show last Friday night. It featured local artists from the Fresno Underground Art Group. Bert Aguilar is the social media director for Tioga Sequoia. He says that they want to be a venue to feature local art and bring people back to downtown Fresno.
So that's our ultimate goal, is to just be a part of the downtown community, the Fresno community, and spread as much of that creativity out there, whether it's through our beer or through the music that we feature or through the artists that we have on display.
The beer garden where this event was held is open every Thursday through Saturday. For more entertainment news, here's Courtney.
The 5th annual fashion show All Dolled Up was Saturday night. There were a total of 8 designers and stylists with lines with 1960s Barbie and Hmong fashion dolls. Following the show, designers took part in a meet and greet where they talked about the clothes they designed.
I'm having a lot of the low back showings, in the back for my models' dresses. They are going to have some chiffon fabrics draping down from behind too. So I thought maybe that would be nice. That's kind of, 30s especially, they had a lot. It was all about like slim wear and low back showing too.
Brandon Yang is a club member and fashion designer for Fashion Inc. His line was inspired by 1930s fashion and movies like The Great Gatsby and the animated film Anastasia. There were also performances by Blossom Yang and the University Dance Theater. The Fresno State Color Guard, Frente, competed at the WGI Western Guard Championships this weekend. Eric Bentley has the story.
WGI Sport of the Arts is proud to present Frente.
Winter Guard International, or WGI, held the Western Color Guard Championships this past weekend here in Fresno. Winter Guard is a sport that combines dance and choreography with spinning weapons such as flags, rifles, and sabers. The Fresno State group Frente is competing in the Independent World class this year, their first year in the highest class that there is. After their performances this weekend, the members had some high praises for how they felt they performed.
Honestly, I feel like today was one of our best runs. I caught all my stuff. I know a lot of people did. The energy was really up, and I feel that we were more concentrated on our work while doing it.
WGI is all about hard work, and for Frente, this weekend was a good confidence builder and helped the group gel and realize that their hard work is paying off.
I think we did awesome. We all got together as a group and we worked really hard, so I think we all did great.
This weekend at the Safe Mart Center was the last chance that these West Coast Color Guards had to showcase their skills before they head off to Dayton, Ohio for the WGI World Championships.
With the practice translating into their performance on the floor, Frente is riding the momentum after this weekend's competition, and now they have their sights set on the WGI World Championships. With their score of 71.55 on Sunday, Frente is looking primed to make a great impression in their first year in Independent World class. Eric Bentley, Fresno State Focus.
The Color Guard looked really fun this past weekend.
Looks like a fun time.
Yeah.
And that's entertainment news.
Coming up in sports, how one Fresno State team is thriving on the mound.
Plus, the Grizzlies are not only starting with a new team. Stay tuned for sports with the Just Sands Diamonds.
So you decided to go to Fresno State. Good for you. But you were too insecure to show Fresno State pride? That's a problem. Because you never bothered to show pride in your school, you are shunned by other students. Professors can smell the stench of impending failure on you and take no pity. Even the mass communication students agree you have no future. But all of this could have been avoided if you simply showed your pride for Fresno State.
I am Fresno State.
Fresno State pride. Show it or face the consequences.
I am and always will be.
Fresno State baseball and softball teams swept their series this past weekend. At Biden Field, it was San Jose State, which haven't been swept by Fresno State since 2007. On Sunday, the Diamond Dogs finished the day with a 6-3 victory, even after going through 8 pitchers. Kevin Veers was named Mountain West Player of the Week. He had a home run in each of the 3 San Jose State games and also went 7 for 12. The Dogs play the California Golden Bears tonight at 6:35 p.m. Now to Colorado. Softball Open Conference at Colorado State this past weekend. Sunday's 11 runs came from 6 Bulldog players. Paige Gums with a season high of 4 runs. 2 of their 3 games only went into 5 innings due to the 8-run rule. In both 5 innings, junior Jill Compton was on the mound. She also pitched 3 full games during the Fresno State Classic last weekend. Pitching has been a strong suit for the Fresno State softball team, and it's all thanks to junior pitcher Jill Compton. She had a perfect game against Iowa earlier this month and was recognized back-to-back by the Mountain West as Pitcher of the Week for the last 2 weeks. Compton says it's all about her mental game.
Just mental toughness, going into each pitch, thinking about just one pitch at a time, and that's been my biggest focus all season, so just continuing that throughout conference.
Compton has pitched over 129 innings this season, 31 of those being in the last 8 games. Along with that, she has 132 strikeouts and an ERA of 2.44. Coach Trisha Ford says Compton is a big part of the team.
Jill's has been our Friday night starter. She's been the glue to our pitching staff since she's gotten here. So she's done a great job this year of kind of re-identifying, kind of creating herself and keeping batters off balance.
Compton has physically trained during the off-season so that she was prepared to take on as many games as she is now. Overall, she just wants to win with her team. Senior Brenna Moss was also honored by the Mountain West right before that. Of the week. She says the team works well together.
Oh, I think we're bonding great, you know, especially it was kind of worrisome at first because we had a lot of newcomers coming in, but we mesh very well, and as you can tell on the field, I mean, we get our stuff done, so.
Right now, Fresno State is favored to take first in the Mountain West Conference. The Bulldogs' record is now 20-10. They'll be back at Margie Wright Diamond Friday night at 6 p.m. to take on San Jose State in a 3-game series. Well, the women's basketball team fell to the St. Mary's Gales in the second round of women's NIT on Monday night. The Bulldogs had a hard time finishing throughout the game. The team's leading scorer, Alex Sheedy, was scoreless in the first half and had only 8 points in the game. Just before half, Alec Furr with the 3-pointer at the buzzer, but the Dogs were still down by 13. Raven Fox was the leading scorer of the night with 22 points and 6 assists. This was their 8th straight season to the postseason. The Bulldogs finished the season at 22-10, including a 13-game winning streak, and finished 3rd in the Mountain West. And today we have with us senior guard, Raven Fox from the women's basketball team. How are you doing today, Raven?
Good.
So, although your season is over, you guys had a great season. You always seem to come out on top. But you had an amazing game on Monday. Regardless, you came out with 22 points. How was that personally?
I think just knowing that it may have been my last game, and it actually ended up being my last game, I just wanted to come out and play hard, and a lot of my family was there, so that just gave me the energy to come out and play hard, and yeah, just never knowing when your last game is, you just want to come out and play hard, so I think that was my motivation.
And you're from the Bay Area, right? So you definitely had family there.
Yeah, I had a lot of family.
So overall, the season, you guys had a good season. How do you think it went for you guys? 13-game winning streak, home game was your arena.
Ultimately, it didn't end where we wanted it to end, but we were fortunate to go to Australia this year, and we would have wanted things to end differently, but I was fortunate to play in front of my family for my last game, and just be able to end the season with some of the players that I came in with Robin and Alex Sheedy, was a blessing.
And I know your game definitely progressed. I was looking at your stats in freshman year. You didn't really play as much, and this year you had like I think it was over 700 points, and you were the season starter. They wanted you in the game. They wanted to put Raven in. So how did that progression as a player, how was that?
Coach White really helped me this year, just building my confidence and giving me the opportunity, obviously. So I think that ultimately was just why I was able to do so well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so are you thinking about the future? I know basketball's over, but what's next for you, Raven?
Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to play overseas, but if not, I would like a job in sales or something in the industry. But yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Joining with us today. Today we've been talking to Raven Fox from the women's basketball team. Fresno State Rodeo team hosted their annual rodeo this weekend. Teams from all over the region came and competed against the Bulldoggers at the Clovis Rodeo Grounds. We caught up with senior barrel racer Ryan Smith and her horse Cornbugs.
It's really important. We're really proud of it, and we worked really hard putting it together. And we're trying to make it bigger. Like last night our perf didn't get as much as we wanted to, but it was definitely bigger than last year, so we're moving up.
Smith says that the Bulldoggers are ranked second regionally after not being ranked at all this last year. She hopes that events like this past weekend can help the team reach out to future students. The Bulldoggers' next event will be at Cal Poly on April 16th through the 18th. A new group of Bulldogs took the next step to pursue their career in football at Pro Day at Bulldog Stadium this morning. Scouts were on the field to look at athletes show their abilities with weights and other drills like the 40-yard dash. Some big prospects coming out of Fresno State are Tyler Davison, Carl Mickelson, and Duron Smith. Davison did not participate in all the drills because he was previously involved in the NFL Combine. Mickelson and Smith thrived on the field, while players such as Josh Harper participated in the high jump. Opening day at Chichanchi Park is 2 weeks away, but the offseason has already caused a stir among the Grizzlies and their fans. Joshua Robinson tells us how the Grizzlies plan to kick off their season.
Something is different at Chuck Chansey Park this year, and it runs deeper than snacks, vendors, or merchandise. After 17 years, this is the beginning of a new era for the Fresno Grizzlies.
I know it was always fun when you saw a Grizzly player come up, and now he's with the Giants, so you got to see him live in action. And now, I guess you're not going to get that experience.
David Rubio is a Grizzlies fan and a San Francisco Giants fan, who were the Grizzlies' Major League affiliate for 17 years. But the Giants have moved on, and Fresno is now the AAA affiliate of the Houston Astros, and General Manager Derek Franks welcomes the new opportunities for his club.
We felt like we haven't stopped.
A Valley local and Fresno State graduate, Franks wants the Grizzlies to reconnect with the Fresno community. He also wants to set the standard for minor league baseball around the country.
Every time we show up, it's going to be about creating memories, having fun, and being the best place to go and spend a night out, whether you love baseball or you kind of casual about baseball.
The 2015 season represents a new and unique opportunity for the Fresno Grizzlies to redefine themselves and start the steps towards creating a championship culture of their own.
So really it allowed us maybe to be more true to ourselves, more true to Fresno, instead of being so dominantly attached to the MLB club.
Ryan Young has spent his offseason engaging fans and creating new promotions, including the first ever Opening Day H Street Festival. Young calls it the biggest party the Grizzlies have ever thrown and hopes fans will come out to celebrate on April 9th. Joshua Robinson, Fresno State Focus.
In 2 weeks on Fresno State Focus, find out why our own Henry Madden Library was named one of the best in the country.
Plus, we'll hear why some parents of 43 Mexican students killed by police visit Fresno State.
Also, how the university is helping students get money to pay for school.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.